Welcome into the DePaud Hoops podcast brought to you by Home Field. Go check out homefield.com today and get 15% off by using promo code DePaud at checkout on your first order. Go to homefield.com today and pick up some new gear for this season. Lots of good things happening. Got the new DePaul dad hat out there, and of course the t-shirts and sweatshirts that they've already had for a little while. Go check out homefield.com today and pick up your DePaul gear now. Get ready for the season. 15% off your first order by using promo code DePaud. On today's show, we've got a packed show. First show of the season. It's going to be heavy on the interviews today. Not a whole lot to talk about. We'll get into our preview episode later on another day. But today's show, we've got new point guard Conor Enright, transferred in from Drake last season, had a really good season last season. And then after that, we've got a special interview for the Paralympic Games. We've got our own Paralympian, Noelle Malkamaki, our shot putter that is heading over to Paris as we speak. Might already be there by now, but it's a great show, great interviews with both of them. I hope you enjoy. Let's jump it right into things.
Got a McAdoo look to his shot.
Spins, fade away. Yes, sirree! Chandler hits the three.
Oh, tough shot. Giving it up to Reed.
Welcome into the DePaul Hoops podcast brought to you by Home Field. Go to Home Field now and pick up your new DePaul gear today. Get ready for the season. Gear up now because it's going to be a fun season with 12 new players on the roster for our men's basketball team. We've got a great show for you today. We've got Conor Enright, and then after him, we've got Noelle Malkamaki, our Paralympian, heading over to Paris to compete, set some world records. Hopefully we'll get into that. But yeah, this is the first show of the new season, and I'm excited for what this season has in store for our men's basketball team. We'll do a preview episode going over all the new faces, talk with other players, get them on as we can schedule them. But yeah, we'll jump right into the interviews now because I wanted this show to be a little bit more about the two student athletes that we were able to interview. Of course, Conor Enright, new point guard, and Noelle. She's doing some really great things. Really, really fun interview with her, and I'm looking forward to watching her on Peacock coming up here in the Paralympics. So let's jump right into our first interview. New point guard, transferred in from Drake, Conor Enright. All right. Welcome into Conor Enright, point guard for your DePaul Blue Demons. Brand new year, new place, new face. How you doing, Conor?
I'm awesome, man. Excited to be here, and I appreciate you having me.
No, thanks. We're excited to have you in Chicago. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you ended up here and what went into that decision before we get into everything else?
Yeah, I mean, growing up an hour away is definitely a big factor, being close to home. Got a big family, so a lot of cousins that live, nearby or even in the city. So that's definitely something that I was considering even before, like, DePaul reached out, just, being able to go closer to home. And then, Brian Mullins recruited me out of high school, played AAU for his dad, Mike Mullins at Illinois Wolves. So having that connection when he got the assistant job here was pretty big for me. I knew Coach Owens prior to that, and then Coach Holtman. My cousins are big Ohio State fans, or they were, and so they had all good things to say about him too. So when I just got to know all the coaches and stuff, it's just like it felt like a really good relationship, and the opportunity to come home and come back and play for DePaul was really cool.
That's awesome. There's been some there's a group that talks about DePaul basketball, and one of them's a big Bill or Ted's. I always screwed up because of that movie, but is it Bill's Pizza?
Bill's Pizza. Yeah.
Okay.
That's in Wonderland.
Yeah, I'm a Southwest suburbs guy, so I'll put up Vito and Nick's against it any day, but they say otherwise. All right. So a lot of people, last year you were at Drake. You got to go to the March Madness. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like and what how that's going to change and bring your perspective to the team?
Yeah, I've played 2 years and I've got to go to March Madness twice, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of guys get to say that. So, but I think being there and seeing the standard that you have to have every day, whether it's practice, lift, cleaning up in the locker room or in the game. The attention to detail that you need to get there and play on that stage is important. So I think I can bring that to the team and kind of just help everyone understand what that's like. And we got other guys that can do that too. But I mean, it was playing in the NCAA tournament was one of the best experiences of my life. And I only want to get back. And I know all the guys that haven't experienced it, I want it for them too, just because it's once in a lifetime thing. Not everyone gets to do it, and it's really special. So hoping we can get it going that way.
Yeah, you were one of those guys that kind of made their name for themselves with your look last year. You planning on bringing that mullet back?
Yeah, we got it a little short right now, but it's gonna come back. If you can't tell, probably not. I'm trying to grow a mustache.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably can't even see it.
No.
But yeah, my family's hating on that one. But I said, I was like, if I get the mullet mustache combo, that'd be pretty fun.
No, that's a vibe for sure. Throw on a headband and
yep,
and that'd be good. Yeah. So you guys have been there for a couple weeks now. Talk about since everyone's been there together. Talk about a little bit how you guys have come together, how you guys are coming together and learning each other's style of play, learning the coach's style of play, and how that's going and what the vibe is like.
Yeah, well, with 13 new guys, it was we're all learning what coach wants before like we can see how everyone plays and what they like and stuff. So that was the first couple of weeks, just adapting to the terminology and the actions that coach likes and then wants to put in, because everyone came from different spots. And then in these past couple of weeks, though, like as we've gotten that down, I think we've started to gel and have a lot more chemistry, offensively and defensively. Just being able to play off one another and stuff. So I think it's been great. We've had a good summer so far. Obviously, still got a lot of work to do, but definitely improved each week, and it's evident in practice. Just playing, like it feels more natural, and watching when we watch film afterwards. So I'm really excited about the group, though. We got a lot of good dudes, and yeah, everyone's excited to get to work.
Has there been any trash talking or anything like that between the players? Who does the most?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go blue and white. We'll switch it up each week. But when I'm on one team and the other guy's same thing, it's like if you're on blue team, you don't like the guys on the white team that week at all. So I would say I've talked a little trash. Troy's talked some trash. Trying to think. Chris Riddle a little bit too. So like, I mean, we've all had guys just say stuff, but it's all love.
For sure. No, definitely.
Yeah. So it's good. We're a very competitive group. So it's like if no one was talking trash or
it'd be a problem.
Aggressive. Yeah, exactly. You want that in practice, so it's awesome.
Nice. That's good to hear. It's a whole different, I think, from a fan base. DePaul fans want to see that kind of stuff and want to see a little bit more personalities and just from previous years, just from what we've experienced. But shifting gears a little bit, shifty, tenacious defender, circus shots, all things that have described Conor Enright. How would you describe your game, and what do you bring to the table aside from those things?
I would say a little on the line of tenacious, but hard nosed and hard working. I'm gonna dive on the floor and get back up every time. I just want to give it my all. Like I don't care if I got 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. If we win, doesn't matter to me. I don't care if I play 20 or play 0. Like I just want to win. And I think that mindset can kind of spread across our team. Everybody, that's all they care about. So, that, and I think a lot of threes. I love shooting threes, and I love getting my teammates involved. Like I'd rather get an assist than get a bucket myself. Just more fun when you get a great possession and a good ball movement into a bucket. But just a lot of passion, a lot of energy. I'm never gonna play 50%, and sometimes they got to tell me to slow it down, hold back, and practice a little bit. If we're having an easier day, I guess. But yeah, just give it my all.
So what's your go-to three-point celebration if it's in like a pivotal moment of the game? Is it the arrow? Is it what is it?
I've had a couple, like in the moment I just hit random ones, but the Brunson like hand over the mouth has been my recent one. I don't know. I saw him do that. He's from Stevenson, so he's from the area.
Yeah.
But I don't love Stevenson, and put that out there. We're rivals. But yeah, Brunson celebrations got it for me right now.
All right. So what's it like living out your dream, playing D1 hoops? First couple of years, obviously at Drake, now at DePaul. What's it like for you to recognize that? I know people kind of put that out. Oh, players get NIL now and all this stuff, but it's really like still at the end of the day, you're living out your dream playing basketball.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to step back and like think about it, because it's like I've been wanting to play college basketball since I was 5, and like I didn't, you never know when, if you're going to be able to do it, and it kind of hit me when I was like 15 that I was going to get to be able to do that. So like when I look back at like after having some of these games or these seasons that I've had, it's just like a really cool thing to look at. Like not many people get to do this, and even play at the level that I've been playing at. So it's really awesome. I try and not take it for granted. I only got 2 years left. I wish I could have 10 more. But it's a great experience, and like that's why after I'm done playing, I want to coach so I can help other kids like live out their dreams and help them succeed.
I think you've got a good coaching staff too, to with especially Mullins and the guys that you've mentioned. So to get that perspective and learn from them for sure. So what do you do when you're not practicing, you're not studying? What makes Conor Enright tick?
I do. This is gonna sound a little boring, but I love just watching movies. Like I've seen like I feel like a million movies.
Is it
Any
comedy?
genre.
Oh, any genre. Okay.
Any genre. I got a couple favorites.
Okay.
Good Will Hunting's my favorite movie.
All right.
It's very
That's
solid, but,
a solid go-to.
I'll watch anything. Yeah.
Okay. So are you Cubs or White Sox?
Cubs. But my dad's a Sox fan, so it's tough.
My house is divided too. It's part of, I guess, living in, growing up in Illinois. So, yeah, I married into a Sox family. And when I first, met my wife, she's her dad saw Cubs tickets on the counter because we were going to a game, and he goes, "This isn't going to last." So, yeah, it's definitely one of those polarizing topics. What's in your headphones going into game, pumping you up, getting ready?
This is gonna sound a little weird, but I got like 80s, 90s rock. I'm a big.
I mean, it
big
fits.
rock
It fits the bill. I mean, you got the mullet, now the mustache. 80s, 90s rock kind of goes with that whole vibe. So it doesn't surprise me at all. What is it like? Creed, Nickelback?
My cousins love Nickelback. I don't listen to that pregame. That's pretty funny though. But yeah, Creed, like Three Doors Down, stuff like that.
All right. So we'll get close to wrapping it up. Last question though. What's your expectation for the season? Obviously coming off of a brand new team, I think there's tempering of expectations a little bit going on. Understood. But what do you think is your goal for this season, your goal for the team personally, and then for the team?
Yeah, personally, I just want to have a really competitive season, be able to just be a really good leader of this team, and take the next step in that self for my game. And then, as a team, I think, we got great staff, we got great players. But, obviously DePaul's not getting a lot of respect. So I think we're going to come with a chip on our shoulder. Obviously, we know that we're, you're going to go on road games. You're not going to get all the calls. You're going to, get disrespected a little bit. So just, have a chip and be super competitive. I think we can surprise a lot of people. People look at DePaul and just think they're gonna go in and wipe them by 30. No, that's not gonna happen this year. So I'm pretty excited. I think we'll have a good squad, and each day we're gonna get better and learn and grow with each other.
Well, I think that's music to everyone's ears. I think we're all looking forward to it. And thanks again. And hopefully we could have you on sometime during the season.
Sweet. That would be awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's great. Thanks, Conor. All right. Welcome in two-time world champion and DePaul track and field alum now, getting ready to head off to the Paris Paralympic Games in about a week or so. Noelle Malkamaki, welcome on to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you today.
No, I appreciate your time. I'm sure you're really busy right now, and you've got a lot going on getting ready for Paris. But before we get into that, I want to talk about you and your story as an athlete and how you've gotten here. Because you started off in track and field, and it wasn't you haven't always been competing in adaptive sports. What was that like, and what was that decision like to start heading that way?
Yeah, so after talking to a lot of my teammates on Team USA on the Paralympic team, I definitely got a later start to adaptive athletics than most athletes do. So I competed able-bodied for my entire life. I played soccer from the age of 4 on, like most kids do. And then I started throwing in high school, started throwing at DePaul, and I was even throwing in college for a couple years before Coach Muir asked me, hey, have you ever considered the Paralympics? And it's funny that you asked me about this story because him and I were just chatting the other day because we're working together all summer still through the games, which is awesome. I love working with Coach. But we were just talking and I said, why didn't you ask me sooner about the Paralympics? Because he said that he'd had the thought even earlier than he asked me, and that's the first I've heard of it. But he thought that I wouldn't be ready to start that journey yet. And I think he was totally right about that. My journey toward adaptive athletics was a little bit challenging in that, as someone who competed able-bodied for my entire life, it was kind of a change in my identity that I probably wasn't ready for until the point that we really started talking about it. So from the time that he asked if I'd ever considered joining the Paralympics, my immediate response was, I'm not sure I'm disabled enough for that. And obviously, as we learned some more about how the process works and the classification system, that's not true. Like, I am disabled enough for it, but I don't think I had admitted that to myself yet. So the journey of kind of stepping into adaptive athletics was also one of identity shifts for me and coming to terms with that part of who I was. And I think it came along at exactly the right time.
Yeah, and really since then you've kind of taken it by storm, right? Last year, first, it's amazing, to even take that step because I could not at all fathom how, especially like you said, you've been competing with able-bodied people your whole life, and now you're at this level of world-class Paralympian level, and so let's talk about last year, because that was it last year or the year before that you took that big step and you ended up on Team USA with the Para Championships, right, in Paris?
Yeah, World Championships of 2023. That was my first international meet, and that was the biggest step for sure. It was crazy.
What was it like preparing for that? Because you think about athletics and there's a lot of lifting and technique development that you work on. I was watching shot put yesterday and I noticed that there's a bit of a skip or a spin. And how does that how do you go about determining your preparation for that and what method you use?
Yeah, great question. I love to talk about this. If you were watching the women's shot put, I think there's more of a balance. Some people do rotational and some people glide, and I do the glide. The men's shot put is typically only rotational throwing. You're kind of hard pressed to find a glider who's a man, but usually the women are more inclined to do the glide, and that's what I do. I went back and forth in high school, which was honestly worse than just picking the wrong one. Like the back and forth, obviously the technique is so different, and then even when I got into my early college career, we were still trying to figure out what worked best for me. Ultimately, for the type of strength that I have, so much of my strength comes from my lower body. And we figured that just worked better with the glide technique. And early in my college career, I was actually primarily a discus thrower. And what some people might not know is the ring for discus is actually just a little bit bigger than shot put, and everyone does rotational for discus. So I would go from these discus practices in a bigger ring and try to put that same technique into this smaller ring. And it's like, why am I blowing out the front every single time? So then it just made more sense to get like really separate with things. And as we've developed my glide technique, me and coach have found there are so many things that I've gotten better at over the years, and then this laundry list of stuff that I still haven't figured out, which is a great position to be in. I think there's a lot of upward mobility for me still in this technique, but it also feels like the right spot for my body.
That's yeah. I couldn't. I was watching it. And I was like, I would get dizzy. I would easily fall over if I was
Same.
spinning and doing this, especially with like. Well, how much does a shot put? I know this is like a basic question, and really, but how much does a shot put weigh? Does it vary as class? Obviously, between it might. I don't. Maybe this is bad on me, but men and women, do they have different weights of shot put?
Yeah, no, great question, because this actually can get a little confusing. For a while, like when you're younger, it's kind of the same weight all the time. But the women throw a 4K, and that's just under 9 pounds, and that never changes. So women in high school, college, and like at the Olympics are throwing the same weight of shot put. For the men in the Olympics and in college, it's 16 pounds shot put. So that's like quite a bit heavier than what I throw. And then this is bad on me, like I should know more about this. But depending on the classification in the Paralympics, actually, it can differ a little bit too. So sometimes some classifications in para throwing will be male, but they'll throw a different weight. So it just kind of depends.
Okay. No, that's really interesting. Let's talk about last year in Paris and the Para World Championships. You came in first time, and you broke world records twice. You started with what, 13.32 meters, and then you finished with 13.6. So what was that like? What was that experience? And then, of course, first international competition, and you shatter world records.
Yeah, so in Paris last year, I ended with the 13:32, and then this year I hit the 13:6.
Oh,
regardless,
right. Sorry.
though,
Yeah.
all good. There's so many records; it's hard to keep track of. No. So I did break it a couple times though in that one competition in Paris last year, and it was just kind of surreal. I don't think anybody can prepare you for what it's like to be at your first international competition. It's like terrifying, honestly, for lack of a better term. I was there, I flew over there never having really met the entire team. I'm going to go just spend 3 weeks with people I've never met. Okay, sounds good. Luckily enough, Coach Muir was able to come over with me last year, and that was like, oh, finally a familiar face is here with me, and like we were able to work together, which is obviously always a good thing. But for how nervous I was and how new everything was, I was actually pretty happy with that result. I think a big thing I struggled with throughout my college career, having the para career alongside it, was that the atmosphere at a para meet is very different than the atmosphere at a college meet. And I was like consistently throwing better at college meets, and that was just stressing me out and like frustrating me so much. So we've done a lot of work about that over the summer. But going back to Paris last year, it was just a great first experience. I took everything in. I look back on that, and maybe it's through rose-colored glasses. I'm sure there were some things that weren't perfect, but it was really just such a great first introduction to the world of what I would become a professional athlete, and like international competitions and Paralympic competition, and just what all of that's like. It made me fall more in love with track and field as a whole, actually, and that was a really unexpected side effect of everything. But it was amazing time of my life. I could talk about that forever, because it was so much fun.
No, that's cool. And then to be in Paris too, like it's one of those world-class cities, and also competing. I mean, the biggest stadium that I've been in is, as a mascot was Madison Square Garden. I can't even imagine the just sheer size of what is it? The French stadium over there, Stade de France, or whatever it's called. Yeah.
It's huge.
Amazing.
It's surreal to watch it on the Olympics and like see that, oh my gosh, that's where I'm going to be in a couple weeks. Like, it's huge. It's just a huge stadium. Like, that's crazy.
It really puts things into perspective. And coming off of that para championship, and then coming into this this DePaul season, obviously, with the Big East. You finished this year fourth, I think, or fourth or fifth in the Big East. I wrote it down and I can't find my note on it, but
Yeah, fifth, I think.
yeah. Talk about that, and what was this season like? Your final season as a collegiate athlete.
Yeah, I'm first of all so happy and so grateful for like the weird timing of everything that gave me a fifth year. Like I'm one of the COVID kids, so like I only got that fifth year because of COVID, and obviously it's like perfect timing, roll off of the fifth year season right into the Paralympic season. So from the get go, it was like I have this gift of a fifth year, and I'm so excited to just use it and see what I can do. Honestly, in hindsight, it was probably my toughest year of college track ever. I had very high standards, obviously, for what I wanted my fifth year to be. Obviously, you're like, you want to go out with a bang and you want to do really well and make that fifth year worth it. There are a lot of things that a fifth year athlete typically has to do and sacrifices you have to make that work, because you still have to be a full-time student. You have to kind of pull some strings with like, okay, do I want to do a double major and delay graduation? Do I want to start a master's degree? And so that was a whole thing, which is like, what makes the most sense for me academically, just so I can, get another season. But I feel like I worked harder during my fifth year than I ever had before. And then that gets complicated with, you look back and you think that when I was a freshman, if I had worked this hard, how much better would I be now? And you can't go too far down that path, because I think everybody has to experience that unsureness of being a freshman. And you get to the point where you're a fifth year and it's just like, all you can do is take it one day at a time, do the best I can today. Nothing I can do about what I did when I was 18,
Yeah, no, definitely.
But yeah, for
Sorry,
sure. So no, you're good. But it was good. I got to go to a lot of competitions and work hard. The indoor season was pretty rough. There were practices where I was incredibly frustrated, because it's like, I feel like I'm putting in all this work and, where's the payoff? But me and Coach Mira were on the same page for a long time that this season is the long game. I started training in September. I'm training all the way through this next September. You really shouldn't do that. It's kind of crazy. I'm kind of at my wit's end at this point, but I'm really grateful that there wasn't this huge payoff during my collegiate season, because I think it's coming in the Paralympics. And, if I had to pick one, that's what I would pick. So yeah, I think the fifth year was great. I obviously loved getting to spend time with all my teammates, and getting one more year just at DePaul and in the collegiate system was amazing. And any opportunity to throw, I love, obviously. But yeah, it was tough. There are two sides to the fifth year. I think everyone has really high expectations for what they'll do as a senior. And I think maybe it's rare that you meet those exactly how you expected, but I grew a lot. I got a lot of good training in, and I spent great time with my teammates. So you really can't go wrong.
Sounds like exactly what you needed heading into this Paralympic Games. And going into France this time around, what's your mindset like? Where are you at as far as training, and what do you anticipate for this Games?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. We're at the best spot that I've ever been in for training. I can say that with total confidence. The workouts that Coach Mira has put together and the lifts that Jimmy Duba has put together have been absolutely perfect. We're trying some new stuff. And obviously, I spent 5 years at DePaul, and working with this same community, we've been able to learn like what my body needs and how I best recover and how I throw far, which is not the same as how everyone throws far, because everyone is so different. So I'm really grateful for like the team that I have here. Working with me more one-on-one this summer has put me in just such a good position. I love training one-on-one. It was great to train with my team, but I'm like hogging the attention a little bit, and I get all the eyes on me at practice, which is great, and it's put me in a really good position. Headed into Paris, I have a lot more confidence than I've ever had in my throw and in who I am as a Paralympian. It feels really good to call myself a Paralympian finally. After trials, that was exciting to be able to finally start saying that. And yeah, I'm more focused than I think I've ever been. I don't think I've ever worked so hard for something. And I'm really proud of the training we've done this summer. So I'm excited to go see what result I can put out there in Paris. But at this point, I'm proud of the athlete I've become over the summer and in the process of doing all this training.
No, it's great. It seems just incredible passion for what you do. It's really cool to see someone fulfill their dreams like you are right now. So in practice, we know 13.6 meters in the trials. what's your farthest throw in practice? Or yeah, obviously that was probably in competition. So what was your furthest throw in practice?
That's a good question. We don't measure a whole lot. I've definitely
Okay.
gone probably like a 14:10. I threw a 14:06 during my collegiate season. That's my
Okay.
PR. That's what we're looking for in Paris. Like that's kind of the goal, right? If you throw a lifetime best at the Paralympics, like you're golden. That's when everyone wants to do it. So that's my goal.
All right. Well, hopefully you can achieve that. I and the DePaul community will have complete faith in you and stand behind you as you go to Paris. Before we close out, I want to ask a couple questions about your trip. Obviously, it's a business trip. You're going there to win. You're going there to crush world records like you always do. What is something in Paris this time around that you're looking forward to doing as a leisure activity?
Ooh, great question. So last year when I was in Paris, there was a period of probably 6 days in a row that I went to the same crepe shop every single day. So doing that again, absolutely. And last time I was there, I never went to the Louvre. So I would love to go to the Louvre and walk around all of this after we take care of business, obviously.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch you. It'll be on Peacock, I believe, is where
That's
the
right.
Paralympics will be. And once we get to see you and celebrate your win and your gold medal in the Paralympic Games, we'll look forward to getting you back home and celebrating somehow over here in Chicago. So, thanks for taking the time. I wish you the best. I hope that Paris is incredibly successful for you, and look forward to watching you throw in a week or so here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Really a great time interviewing both those student athletes with Conor Enright, talking about his transfer into DePaul and why he picked DePaul, and what he's looking forward to this season. And then on the back end there, Noelle Malkamaki, getting ready for the Paralympic Games here very soon. She just left for Paris uh, today, actually. So yeah, we're looking forward to cheering her on as she endeavors and embarks on that new challenge. You know, having already won a couple world championships as a Paralympian, as a para athlete. So really excited for what is coming up for DePaul athletics as a whole. I wanted to talk a little bit about we're going to have a great season as far as we're going to push out more content. I've got a little bit more in with talking with the players too, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, it'll all progress really nicely this season with 12 new faces on the men's basketball team. And we'll definitely be able to do a little bit more, talking to the coaches a little bit more, and of course expanding our coverage too with the Blue Demon Media Network Substack with Lawrence and Dalton over there and Jonah as well. So yeah, we'll see you next show. Next episode should be really fun, really exciting. We've got head coach Chris Holtman on the way. Thanks for joining me again, and go Blue Demons.